All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shirat David, Baruch Hashem. We have our air conditioner working downstairs in the base medrash. This is very exciting. Baruch Hashem. Miracles in Israel never cease to exist. Never, really. It's amazing. Okay, and so we're learning Birchas Haidah, so I want to give thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the fact that we're here in Eretz Yisrael. And all of our brothers and sisters should, if they would only know what we taste and what we experience here, they would all leave where they are. Really, they just don't have. It's so sad. They don't have any idea.
Amen.
But thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you rescued us and you took us out of that situation. Okay. We're learning Likutey Halachos Haidah, giving thanks to Hashem. We're in Halacha Vav. Halacha Vav is a very, very special Halacha 6. It's based on lesson 24 in Likutey Maran. It's one of the most prized, cherished lessons in all the Likutey Halachos, according to the elders of Breslov. Really, it's always was known this way because this is something that can really help us achieve so much in life, because how important joy really is. Joy is it's so important. Joy is the catalyst to all success. Okay, we're learning.
47.
Here we go. We're just starting. We're just starting. We're just starting. Yeah. We're just starting. Okay, and so we were learning yesterday about the Korban Todah, the Korban that we say thank you to Hashem, right? And we learned that when Mashiach is going to come, hopefully he'll be here today. We learned that from Chazal. Chazal tell us that all the karbanos will be batal. We won't have them. They'll be nullified. We won't need them, because again, Jews will have. It's known that when Mashiach comes, we'll be able to the recognition of Hashem will be compared to the mayim that's mechasa the yam. The same way, when you look at the sea, all you see is the water. You can't see anything underneath the water. Okay, if the water is very clean, you can see, but really what you're seeing is the water. And when Mashiach is going to come, everything in the world will see Hashem so clearly. We wouldn't make the mistakes that we make now. We'll just perceive Hashem in everything. So we won't need all those other karbanos for the mistakes and all of that, because will be so clear to us. It's something so special to think. But we'll always be able to say thank you to Hashem that we're living on such a level that we're so close to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Okay, so we said now the Korban Todah is a very unique korban, because the Korban Todah came along with 40 different loaves of bread. 40 different loaves of bread. Okay. 40, 10 of each kind. Wow. 10 of each kind. And what was the reason for that? So that way the bread would be able to give it out to other people, and other would be able to share in the person's thank you. And then they can also give thank you, and they can have their bread, so they would wash, and they would bring them more recognition of Hashem. It's such an amazing sacrifice that came along with the animal, with these breads. So we learned yesterday about the two types of bread so far, and we learned about challah, and we said challah is very beautiful. Oh, wait 1 second. One thing. So these breads came along with something very unique, that there were matzah, and there were breads that did not have any chametz in them, but there were chametz breads, and that was something very unique, right? Very unique. So today we're going to learn about the third one, and that one's called the Murubeches Beroischen, and that's what we're up to. We're in middle of 4, and I guess everyone has their place, right? Okay. So this Murubeches Beroischen was a very, very interesting bread. What they did with the dough was they would take the dough and they would mix in hot water. They would mix in it with hot water, and then after they would knead it, after they would knead the dough, they would take the dough and they would boil the dough. I know, they would boil, right? They would boil it. Then they would put it in the tanur. They would put it in the oven, and then they would put it in the machvat and fry it. So it was like almost like a bagel. It was like a bagel. Bagels. They boil the bagel, then they bake the bagel. But here we did another thing. We also fried it, so it was really delicious. Could you imagine that? That'll be a new way to do it. The bagel stores will start frying their bagels. Make the bagel, then they'll fry it.
That's a good idea.
No, but that's what this was. This is what it was. The Torah tells us to do it like that. It's beautiful. It's watched, believe in the heart. Like we said, Mivoreches. Mirubeches is the same words, mivoreches. Blessed. Be blessed. The idea of blessing comes from the hands, right? We learned a lot about that. Aharon puts out his hands to bless the people. Hashem said, put out your hands to bless the people. Blessing comes via the hands. So this was a very, very interesting. Bread that they were doing, and I guess everyone tried the different breads. And we were learning yesterday, we started Hilchas Netilas Yadayim in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we said if a person washes and he's going to eat less than a kazayas, right? Remember that? We learned if you wash, you can eat less than a kazayas, an egg, right? An egg. So then without the shell, okay, that amount, which is a little more than 1 ounce. If you compressed it, okay? So then you would wash, but you wouldn't make the bracha. Here, there was so much bread, so you're able to try this. You would try the challah, you could try the rakikin, you could try the merechet, you could try all the different types of bread. It was amazing. Okay, here we go. Ki elu hashalosh, these three, the challah, the matzah, which was yesterday was the rakikin, like those little wafers, like you said, yesterday, Simcha, right? And then we have this one, okay. Ba'ois matzah, right? Matzah, that's matzah, and it's not chametz, right? Ba'oi tzrichin lahavi betoda eser chalois chametz. Then we would bring 10 chalois that were actually chametz. K'maisha kosav al chalois lechem chametz. It says in the Torah, al chalois lechem chametz. You know, as part of this sacrifice, you would bring the chalais lechem chametz. The Torah tells us that. And that was something very interesting. Shezel niflois noirois hakorban todah she mishuna mikola karbona she'osa bahem chametz k'may shekosav ki chol sa'ar v'chol zaktir lo zaktir menish l'Hashem. You can't normally have a yeast and leavened breads in any other kind of carbon. It has to be matzah. It cannot have chametz in it. But here the Torah is telling you, no, it has to be chametz. The Torah is giving us the instruction. Lo saktiru. In other words, if it has chametz, normally don't sacrifice it. Lo saktiru. Rak b'korban todah meivin chametz. Only with korban todah you're allowed to bring chametz. Because you're thanking Hashem, that's why. So you realize even the chametz is from you, Hashem. Everything is from Hashem.
Why wouldn't you be able to?
Wait, let's see. Because the Torah says normally in any other sacrifice you cannot bring chametz.
Oh, okay.
Here the Torah tells you specifically bring chametz.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is the Korban Todah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I get it.
Korbanot
All korbanot, yeah.
If you sinned or did certain things, it would have to be chametz. But we are thanking Hashem. We're bringing people together. So
It had to be matzah. It could be chametz.
Right, it had to be
right.
matzah, okay.
Could not be chametz. But here you can be. Well, here's what Reb Nosson is going to explain now. Okay. Ki chametz b'shosha begdusha nimshach bechinas koyach hamesada v'meyashiv es hamoichin. The idea of chametz is the same idea, rises up. Chametz rises up. So it's this idea of the keter, you push it back down. Nimtza bebechinas koyach hamesad v'miyashev v'sameichin shu bechinas keter shu bechinas hamtana. Hamtana, wait. Oh, how do you get chametz? Wait. That's how you get chametz. Ki kishoylin, that's all adam ezes seichel oimer. If the person, they ask a person, kishoylin, that's all you ask a person, ezes seichel, you want to know something, hamtin, achetis yashev, normally you tell the person, asking, wait a second, I'll give you an answer. That's what we normally say. Person asks you a question, okay, wait a second, I'll give you an answer. Hamtin. Right? Wait. Ayin Shameita Batoira. Again, that was we learned in lesson 24. Shekol Ikra Tikun Hu Al Yedei Tikun Hamasada Meyashiv. The whole Tikun comes when the Keter. Let's just review one more time so we make sure we understand. They're doing a mitzvah with joy, right? This is so important every time to reinforce this. Now, when we do a mitzvah with joy, first of all, you do a mitzvah. That's great. Okay. Now we're learning another level, doing the mitzvah, that same mitzvah that you're normally doing, but do that mitzvah with joy. Why? The mitzvah is a catalyst. It turns things on. What happens is the Shechina we know is in Golas, Bein HaKlipot, it's stuck in between all the husks of impurity. And when you do a mitzvah with simcha, you energize this Shechina. It's fuel, it's mamish energy, it's tremendous power. We have no idea. Just doing a mitzvah with joy, we create so much energy, so much spiritual energy. And we mamish can energize the Shechina so the Shechina can rise up from amongst the klipa. It rises up. Now it starts to move, and it moves, gravitates towards Malchut. Once it attaches itself to Malchut, then what it does is it keeps rising up, and it goes to Netzach Chayid Yisayid. It grabs onto those three Sfirot. And then it rises up to the next one, to the next group, because it has the power of the Malchut, has the power of Shechina, which is Malchut, and it has the Netzach Chayid Yisayid. It goes up to Chesed Gevurah Tiferet. Now there's 6, right? And then they're traveling with momentum, and then it can go all the way up to Chachma Bina Das. So now there are 9, right? 9 with the Malchus, the Shechina. Then they go all the way, gravitate up to Keter. Keter says, no, back. Keter says, back. Amtin, wait. Right? The same thing we said with the ball. You bounce the ball, but so long as you keep with the rhythm of the ball, you'll be okay. If you don't keep with the rhythm of the ball will go out. And that's the mind. The mind constantly wants to wander. Right? And then that's the way our minds are. The people, like they say, they daydream. Right? The mind's wandering. What's daydream? Mind's wandering. You won't daydream if you're in the system of doing mitzvahs b'simcha, because then you're constantly approaching the keter, and the keter will give that mind that jolt to wake up the mind, so it's not dreaming. It'll be able to be miyashev the mind and be mesader the mind. It can settle the mind, it can organize the mind so the mind can be healthy and well. You understand? This is the process. So that's the idea, like we're saying, of the bread, that's chametz. Because chametz rises. Chametz rises. Like the keter says, hamtin, wait. How do you get chametz to become chametz? If you mix flour with water, right, and you wait, it go over 18 minutes, it turns chametz. It's waited, hamtana, waited. It waited, it stopped, so therefore it rised up. So, okay. So, hates, heichol, and then a person can come in contact with the 9 different chambers, the light of that's the 9 chambers that's filled with the Ein Sof. Because again, what's the mind doing? The mind is trying to perceive. The mind is trying to perceive Ein Sof, the infinite light. The mind, because the neshama knows about the infinite light. So the neshama is trying to constantly connect itself to the infinite light. So when that process, when you do the mitzvah b'simcha, is where the neshama can experience the infinite light. Because when it has that crashing process, when the spheres rise up to the keter and the keter pushes it back, so that collision causes from the three different segments of three, which we had Netzach Yisoid, Netzach Hod Yisoid, and Chesed Gevurah Tiferes, and Chochmah Bina Das. Right? Each three causes another heichel, another chamber is created, and that chamber is filled with light, the infinite light, and that infinite light enters us. That infinite light enters us. And that infinite light is what can energize us to do the right thing and motivate us to have the right ritzonos, to have the right rotzo, the right desires, the right wills, in order to overcome, to be successful in our bechira, choosing Hashem always, right? That's the goal. Our goal is Hashem put us here and we have bechira, chavshit. We have free choice. We are constantly supposed to choose Hashem. The more mitzvahs you do with simcha, gives you that edge over the bechira to be able to constantly choose the right thing. And that's why we said, hence the Arizal was so successful in his endeavor, in his learning, and in his understanding of the secrets of Torah, of all of Pardes of Torah. Of course, the Arizal understood all of Pardes, Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Soid of Torah. But he achieved so much when it came to the Sod, when it came to understanding the Zoya, the secrets of the Torah. How did he do that? Oh, I did a mitzvah. He learned how to do mitzvahs with joy. It's amazing. Just understand that. And any of us at any time can say, I'm going to do my mitzvah with joy. And again, there's more different levels. You can come to this level. It's not like you need to have a certain level of simcha to turn on the Shekhinah. You'll get a little less. Okay, so what? A little joy. A little more joy. It's okay. You take what you get, and you don't get upset, right? Right? You get what you get, and you don't get upset. That's it. You just a little joy. Thank Hashem that He gave me a little joy. You gave me a little joy when I put on my tefillin. Wow, thank you, Hashem. Right? I didn't do it with yawning and all of that. Right? Thank Hashem for that.
So the essence of this is that, because these four
breads. 4 types of breads.
4 types of bread, which is the 4 types of thank you for Hashem, for taking us over the sea, for taking us through this.
All of the things.
Whatever we're thanking Him for, and we're happy about it because, wow, you saved us from these things.
Yes.
You kept us healthy.
Exactly. And that's why we bring the Korban Thank You.
Keep the Korban Thank You.
That's
and then
right.
The Korban Thank You is about why are there are 4 types depending upon the thing that He saved us from?
No. Well, yes, but the Torah tells us what the Torah says if you experience something very difficult and you were saved from it, right? Like we learned the 4 different things, right? The person was either in the desert, the person was either in the sea, the person was incarcerated, he was very ill, and he was healed from it, he was saved from it, whatever the case is. So the Torah says, say thank you. So normally you would have brought a carbon, as an animal, as the thank you. Along with the animal, you would have brought 40 different loaves, 10 of different each type of loaves, 10 of each type. So we learned so far about the challah, we learned about the rikikit, and now we learned about these other breads that were the boiled breads that were baked and they were fried, geschmack of bread, mamash. Okay, anyway, al yedei redifa.
I should say. Thank you. Like the next time we read Torah, like on Monday, because I'm leaving Efrat, and it brought me through all this stuff with joy, and there were challenges and all that.
No. That's not saying. No, you don't say thank you for that. No, you could thank Hashem for the opportunity that you're moving somewhere else in Eretz Yisrael. That's what you could do.
But He brought me through all the challenges of here too. I mean,
but that's okay.
No.
But again, there's specific things.
Okay.
Did you travel? You didn't travel through the desert.
Okay.
Right? You didn't go on this. Did you take a cruise and go on the sea? No, you didn't go on the sea. Right? And thank God you weren't ill. Right? And thank God you weren't incarcerated. So therefore you can't bring the carbon and you can't say the blessing. But you could still say thank you to Hashem.
Yeah.
But it's not a required thank you. This is your own thank you. You recognize gratitude, how Hashem got me through all of these challenges, and thank Hashem that He got me through all these challenges. That's all. But we're learning over here, Birchas Haidah, when you have to say the thing, and why the Torah tells us that there are 4 different types of breads that have to come along with it, and that's what we're learning now, okay? Okay, Ayadea Redifa, because the mind is trying to constantly be rodef, it's trying to constantly rush. V'amake, but it pushes it back, so that way the mind can be settled and okay. Ayin Sham. Hatev. Understand this. Hatev. You see what he says? Really understand this. You really need to understand. Rav Nosson wants us to understand this concept. Do your mitzvah with joy. People think it's silly. Why you have joy? It's so important. Yeah, but I did the mitzvah. Yeah, good. You get thank God you did the mitzvah and you get credit. But don't you want to get some benefit from doing the mitzvah? Don't you want to, they say schar mitzvah is mitzvah. How is schar mitzvah? You did one mitzvah and you did it with joy, so then of course it gives you that motivation to go want to do another mitzvah. Okay. V'zeh bechinas chametz, b'shor shloishe b'gdusha ki chametz, hu al-yedei hamtana. The whole idea of chametz comes through waiting, right? You have mixed the flour in the water. If you ever went to make matzah, right, they have the clock. Right, they set the clock at 18 minutes and it counts down. Right, they're counting down. As soon as it gets to zero, they have to throw everything out because it becomes chametz. Right, the whole idea of chametz is hamtana, and we said the whole idea of the keter is hamtana. Wait. Kamavoya Adei Hilchas and Nefilas Apayim Dalad. We learned that in Nefilas Apayim, the beautiful things of the laws of Tachlan. That was so amazing. Okay, you could look back if you want to see it. We have all of our lessons are all online, and they all have the marmakoimus of each lesson is listed on every one of the lessons online. Yes. Al pi atayra nal ayin shametiv. Ki amayach v'adas nimshach kefi achila shemechayes adam. Because the mayach, the mind, and the das, the information, the knowledge, nimshach kefi achila shemechaya es adam, goes based on what we eat, right? If we learned this idea, if we're eating and making the right brachas, right? So then again, we said every time you take a fruit and you make that bracha on that fruit, there's a soul in that fruit. You redeem the soul in the fruit. That soul has gratitude to you that you made that blessing, and that soul comes and helps you, and that soul comes and the soul helps you it prays for you, because you helped the soul, so it has gratitude to the person that made the blessing. So again, here we listen. That's what gives life to the person. They say you are what you eat, right? You are what you eat, right? The main chiyas is when we have chachma and seichel, when we have wisdom and we have a knowledge, seichel. Like it says, the wisdom, when the person's smart, his wisdom, chachma, wisdom will help him live, right? Because again, we said if a person's doing mitzvahs besimcha, the person's eating the right way and serving Hashem, he's alive, right? We said the Rasha, even b'chaya, even while he's alive, is nikra meis. He's called a dead person. Why? Because he's not connected to his neshama. The problem is Rav Nosson says, I taught you so many different times, right? We did. Rav Nosson wants to, because Rav Nosson really wants to reiterate this again and again, because he says, this is your success in life. This is how you're going to be successful. And Rav Nosson told us in his Hakdama that any time I seem like I'm being repetitive, I'm only being repetitive because this is the main points of your Yadus. This is what you need to be successful in your Yiddishkeit, with your neshama. So that's why I'm going to give it to you again and again to make sure you got it. And Rav Nosson's great at that. He's great. He helps us all the time, again and again. Rav Nosson is amazing. If a person is not working on settling his mind, but again, if the person So let's not get carried away. So you think, well, oh, this chametz is really good. No, don't get carried away with that. You don't get carried away with the chametz. You understand the chametz, again, when you eat your bread, you're washing, right? Like we're learning the laws, you wash your hands, you make the bracha hamotzi, then you thank Hashem with the benching, right? Right? We said we learned about the three, the aleph, right? The connection, the upper world, the lower world, the middle world, the interface that connects. All these nice things that we learned, right? All from eating. Chametz. When you eat chametz, you eat matzah also. Sfardim would not be able to say that because Sfardim can only eat on Pesach. They can eat matzah, but during the year they can't eat matzah. That's considered a mizonos. You know, it's interesting, right? Yeah, Ashkenaz, you can eat matzah anytime you want. You can wash a matzah anytime you want. It's interesting. No difference in the difference of halal. Okay, Kiva Pesach Yetzana Migolas Mitzrayim, because on Pesach we went out of Mitzrayim, and we said when we were in Mitzrayim we were incarcerated. We were incarcerated, right? In Mitzrayim we were incarcerated. We were slaves. That's a terrible incarceration, right? And now the main golus is when the Shechina is in golus. That's the worst golus. Like we learned in lesson 24. When the Shechina is in golus, that's the worst golus. And that's when the atzvus, when the depression, it overpowers the Jewish heart. Ish HaYisraeli, how do you like that? He calls him, Rav Nosson wrote a Ish HaYisraeli before there was the Medinat Yisrael, before there was such a thing as a Yisraeli. But because this is what a real Yisraeli is. You understand? Not the definition of what our government says a Yisraeli is. Because you live in Israel and you eat falafel and you like hummus. You know, that's not an Israeli. You understand?
So what's
An Israeli is when you're making brachas and you're recognizing Hashem. That's the Isha Yisraeli. And the Atzvus wants to attack that Isha Yisraeli. He wants to attack that neshama. He wants to attack the real true Jew. Okay, when you can overpower the atzvus with simcha, again, do the mitzvah with simcha. That is true. That is true. What do you call it? Gula. How do you say gula in English again? Redemption. There we go. Minagolas. That's how you get redeemed from the golas. The geula is the redemption of the golas. So again, the atzvus is the Shechina in Golus, which is in the heart. When I can fill the heart with joy, how do I do that? By doing a mitzvah with joy. So then I take the Shechina from Golus, because we said the Shechina is otherwise in between the klipot. It's stuck. But when I do the mitzvah with joy, I can lift the Shechina up. If I lift the Shechina up, that's Geula. It's redeeming the Shechina from the Golus. Because it says ki besimcha teitzeyu, the Navi Yeshaya says that beautiful. In other words, we'll go out with simcha. The Shechina will go out of Golus with simcha when we learn how to do a mitzvah besimcha. And then we can merit all the different repairs, spiritual repairs that we have to make. Until we can even settle the mind. We can be misakin the mind. We could straighten out the mind. The mind's racing always. It gives the mind that jolt, and then the mind says, whoa, okay, I got it. Okay, the mind stops. It's miyashiv, it settles down. And then it's misadir, it organizes things. And then I can be masik. I can attain a little bit of that or ein sight by doing the mitzvah b'simcha, and the 3 and the 6 and the 9 spheres, they go up and they crash with the keter, and the keter causes the creation of the 9 chambers, right? 3 times 3, shalosh kafol shalosh. If you have 3 times 3 is 9. Those are the 9 chambers that get filled with the or ein sight. You understand, right? Yeah, go ahead.
The chambers, is that a vessel? Like it's
a vessel, and we said in the chambers the same thing.
Okay.
You can call it, sometimes it's called vessels, sometimes they're called chambers. It's the same thing, it's interchangeable. You're creating something. It's not physical anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's some kind of containment. It's some kind of container that can contain infinite light. So it's a special kind of container. Sometimes we want to refer to the container as a heichal, right? A chamber. Sometimes you want to refer to it as a clear vessel. It's same, one and the same.
Rabbi, it says,
Yeah.
we attain the light of the infinite in a touch and go fashion through the 9 chambers.
Yeah.
Now, is that talking about that we can't have it like as a steady type of flow? It's like a
No. So that was lesson 24. We have to fill you in. Okay. I got it. Mati v'loy mati. I attained it, but I don't attain it.
Yeah.
Right. What that means is you feel something. You feel energized. You don't understand. I just did a mitzvah with Simcha, and I feel some kind of energy inside of me. I don't know what it is. I got it, but I don't know what it is. I understand. If you ever do a mitzvah with joy, you just feel something inside of you, and you can't explain it. So I got it. I feel something, but I don't know what it is. And again, we said, because the Rebbe explained to us, because the Ein Sof is higher, he started lesson 24 off. The Ein Sof, the infinite light, is higher than Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Right? We have the different levels in us. We have the Nefesh, the soul. We have the Ruach, is the spirit. And then we have the Neshama. Right? But the Ein Sof is higher than that.
Yeah.
So since it's higher than that, the neshama can sense it, but it doesn't really understand, because we're in this body, we're in this world. We can't really relate to it. We can experience it, but we can't relate to it. Yeah.
Mitzvot aseh versus mitzvot lo aseh, right? You can also do, you can stay away from things in a simcha way, right? Right?
Yeah, but simcha is more okay. Yes,
actively
yes.
doing something that would create the motion that we're talking about. But
Yes, you can, but usually when we say we're doing a mitzvah with simcha, that's a mitzvah saseh.
Right.
Yeah, that's a mitzvah saseh. Mitzvah loy saseh. If a person was challenged with a mitzvah loy saseh and he overcame it, thank Hashem. Thank Hashem that you gave me the ability to overcome this urge to do this mitzvah.
Right.
Thank you, Hashem. It's all about thanking Hashem. Okay, mati v'lei mati. V'ayidei hates heicholim through the 9 chambers. Aval efshar liskos l'chol zeh ki im ayidei bechinas mei yimar. Hamavoy Yesham, right? Ayidei zeh sheyochol likones beicholei temuras. Then you can come into the heichol of temuras. Yemar is the idea of the temur to change. You go into the room of the heichol of temuras. It's a very difficult place, this heichal temura, because you go in there and it's like almost an exchange room. So you don't want to be exchanged with the wrong exchange, right? You don't want to have the wrong trade. You know, when you're trading things, you want to make sure you get a good trade. If you go into the heichal temura, you want to try to stay, yeah. Lemokim aklipas alales kedusha misham bebechinas ketoires kinal. So we said they're really but we go into the heichal temur because that's the place of the ketoras, right? And we want to be able to extract the goodness from the klipa itself. Kamay mevay Yesham, as we learned in lesson 24. Hainu ayidei is garbas hasimcha. Shayidei zeh malin hashchina, through the garbas of simcha. Through a person overpowering the idea of atzvut, the idea of depression in his heart, right? Because we said the atzvut is trying to attack the Jewish heart. I mean, look at the world today. Most people are so depressed. Most people are so depressed. Why? They don't understand that what they can accomplish. Do your mitzvah, but do it with joy. Do the mitzvah with joy. It's amazing what a person can do. Ayidei garbas hasimcha, through a person overpowering the atzvus with joy. Then you're lifting up the Shechina. And that's the greatest thing, because the greatest gullus is when the Shechina is in gullus, not when we're in gullus. When the Shechina is in gullus. So if I can lift the Shechina out of the gullus, I can redeem the Shechina from the gullus. That's the greatest thing, the Malchus Megulusa. I can take the Malchus out of the gullus, Mibeina Klipas, that's stuck in between the husks of impurity, and that's how I can merit all kinds of repairs. All via doing a mitzvah b'simcha and removing the Shechina. I can remove the Shechina. Yes, we can all do this. We can all do this. Every single Jew that decides I'm going to do a mitzvah b'simcha, we can remove the Shechina, help remove the Shechina from the impurity. And when I do that, the Shechina is so happy that we're able to remove it via just doing the simcha. But when we were in Mitzrayim, we were attached. We were grabbed by the klipas miyoid. It was very, very hard to do this. But the geula came only because of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's compassion, kindness. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us this meichin. We called it the Asarusa de La'ela. HaKadosh Baruch Hu infused us with something amazing. He infused us with something, that's the Leil HaSeder. We learned about that. How the Leil HaKadosh, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu and gives us a level that we have no idea how we got this level. It's the same idea of Mati V'loi Mati. It's the same idea. How did I feel this? Where did this come from? Right? That's why the whole idea of the Seder is do things b'simcha. That's why the Yetzer is so big. Oh, the shir was this. Is the shir that? Is this the shir? This the no? Oh, you have to say it just like this. No, the whole thing is about joy. It's all about joy.
I also feel that when I am crying out of joy.
Yeah,
That
fine.
I don't, like I say, why am I crying? I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying.
Tears of joy.
But joy of
Great.
what? No, but I'm saying I don't know.
You know what it is?
I don't know.
Because you got that light inside. You don't even know where it's. You don't know that feeling. You can't. It brings you to such joy.
Yeah.
Because you did a mitzvah with joy. It's amazing what we can do and how beneficial it is. And I know, and then most of the world will say we're crazy. What do you do a mitzvah? What do you do? First of all, why should you even do a mitzvah? That's what the world. Why? And then I got to do it with joy too. Right? I tell the guy, he keep Shabbos. Fine, I'll keep Shabbos. All right, when's it over?
Right. Let's do Havdalah.
Yeah.
We got to go home. Let's do Havdalah.
We didn't get the geula in a level. We didn't earn it. That's what the sphere is all about. The whole thing happened from above. It was all from above. It's nothing that we did down here. We didn't do anything. We didn't have any awakening from below. We were stuck in the klipas. We were stuck in the goo. We were stuck in Mitzrayim. That would be worthy for us to have gula. Yes, we did mitzvos, and we did them with we did our mitzvos that gave us the ability to be able to experience the Isarusa de Leila. Right? We did the Korban Pesach, right? We took we took the little lamb that was the deity. That was the deity of Egypt. And then when the Mitzri saw we were walking the little lamb in the street, he asked, "What do you do?" I'm going to slaughter this guy. It's amazing. That was a tremendous Mesiras Nefesh, right?
This is only for Korban Todah, right?
And that was the Korban Pesach, but now we're learning about the Korban Todah, right? We switch gears.
Right, but I'm saying, that doesn't, like if I do a sin and I sacrifice a cow or a dove, it's, the same thing is not happening there.
What same thing?
With the worlds and the...
No, that's different. Because the person did something inadvertently.
Inadvertently, yeah.
Right, he forgot. right?
This is doing simcha. This is doing a mitzvah of simcha,
Right.
Korban Todah.
Right.
Thank
In other words, a person can only bring a sin offering if he did it inadvertently. If he did it purposely, there's no sin offering.
Really?
Yeah, if you do something purposely, there's no sin. It's only if you made the mistake. If you made a mistake, then you could bring the sin offering. Yeah, well, anyway, okay. That they would be worthy for Gula, to be redeemed. As the Holy Arizal writes, the rain will come upon them, and we spoke about it so many times. So at that time, we didn't have the ability to do things with joy. So we couldn't get to this idea of the keter, the hamtana, to bring us back, to jolt the mind, to be miyashiv and mesada the mind, because we weren't on that level yet. We were happy we brought the Korban Pesach. Joy, we didn't know anything about joy. We were slaves. What do we know about joy? What does a slave know about joy? Right? What does a slave know about joy? We didn't know. So therefore, since we didn't know that, and we said that the chametz is good when you understand that the bread's coming from Hashem and all the other things that we learned about in the Tilas Yadayim and B'tzias Sapas, when you break the bread and all of that stuff that we learned. When you can do that, then it's great, the bread. But otherwise it's dangerous, because now you have this chametz. That's like the idea where when you're bouncing the ball, and now you don't have the rhythm of the ball. Now the ball goes crazy. You lose control of the ball. That's how we were in Mitzrayim. We didn't have the rhythm of our sim. We didn't have that. So we could not, it would not work. So therefore Hashem said, don't deal with chametz, because you're not going to be able to deal with it. You understand now another reason why we don't have chametz on Pesach, because we're not ready for it. Hashem gave us what He gave us with a matana. But then as we go through Pesach, and we come and we do our mitzvahs, we eat our matzah, which we said the matzah is, there's achlosa de svasa, achlosa de menusa. A matzah has two properties to it. It's both emuna food, achlosa de menusa, it's emuna food, because it's right, and it also has medicinal properties. We said it's not physical medicinal properties, but spiritual medicinal properties. So to say, we said the matzah is almost like a prescription, right? The doctor says, take your prescription, eat it, like the Torah says, eat matzah for 7 days. You take your prescription for 7 days. At the 7th day, we'll get the Kriyas Yamsuf. Hashem will show you the greatest miracle, and then you'll see that you're really free. You understand? You'll see that you're really free. How did Hashem show us that? One of the miracles He did when we crossed the sea and we came to the other side, and all the Mitzrayim got spit out, right? All the Mitzrayim got spit out of the sea, right? And they were stacked up on the shore. They were stacked up, and each Jew was able to see his captor. Each Jew saw his captor, that his captor was dead. So he realized that's when he was really free. Because so long as he knew that guy was still lurking, he was still alive, he may come get me no matter where I am. But when he saw he's dead, he was really free. He was really free. I mean, there were many survivors. There were many survivors of the Holocaust that they would wake up in the middle of the night and they would just have a nightmare that Nazi was coming after them. They were living in a nice place, and years later, but they weren't really free. If they would see the Nazi being killed, that would have freed them. But many of them didn't get to see the demise of that Nazi. They didn't get to see the demise, so therefore they were not really free. You understand? Hashem really freed us. Then once we're free, now we can have the chametz and we can do things with joy, because now we're free. Through that we can have this awakening from below. We can do something ourselves down here. It's not only dependent what Hashem will do for us, we can do something ourselves. We can go into that place of Timuras, to that heichal of Timuras, the chamber of exchange. The chamber of exchange. You like that? That's the chamber of exchange, right? The same idea that we said that you can go down into the klipas and remove it. That's the idea of the ketoras. That's why we had to go out of Mitzrayim b'chipazon, in a haste, in a hurry, because again we were about to get redeemed, but the klipas would want to pull us back in. The klipas wouldn't want to let us go. So Hashem says, "Go out b'chipazon, go quickly, get out of there." While the going is going, go, because you have the way to go now. And now we understand that's why on Pesach we don't eat chametz, and it's very, very, very strict that you can't have anything of chametz at all. Because you can't have chametz in your mind. Physical, that doesn't mean you can have physical chametz. We're talking about here, you can't even have a morsel. Chametz, the Pesach is very, very unique. Normally you have the idea of batal b'shishim, right? You have this idea that if you have 60 parts more than the thing that is, so it gets included in it, and it loses its identity. But by Pesach chametz is also even b'mashu, even a morsel. You can have a pot that has 200 liters, 100 gallons, whatever of liquid, and you take one little crumb of a pretzel, one little crumb or a bread or whatever, and put it in that pot. The whole thing is no good. God, I mean, how can that be? Well, let me answer something. If you have they're in a factory and they're making medication, right? They're making medication, right? And they have a big vat of whatever they're making, right? They're making the medication, and then there's a germ that gets stuck in there. It'll contaminate the whole thing. They got to throw it out, right? There's always a mushal, something for the nimshal, always, right? That's the chametz, right? The chametz is like that. In other words, I can't let anything into my mind because it's going to defile it. You understand? It'll defile it. So long as I didn't fix and I didn't do the mitzvah with joy, which gave me the idea to rise up to the keter, and the keter pushed me back. Hamtana. We had that collision, and it created the nine chambers, the 9 vessels. And the 9 vessels were filled with the light, the infinite light, Arein Seif of Hashem. And we can experience that, because the mind is what you eat. How do you like that? See that? The way you eat and what you eat. As they say, you are what you eat, right? Okay. Efrat, Begulas Mitzrayim hayu tzrichen lesakin ched adam arishon shechotu hayu ba'achila she'ochel me'etz hadas teivara. In other words, what's the whole point? Why do we go down to Mitzrayim? Because of Adam Arishon. It's terrible. We always blame him, right? He always gets, no matter what, it boils down to the Eitz Hadas Teivara, no matter what it is. This is where I'm not saying every time, and it's all about Eretz Yisrael. It's amazing. Shel bechinas achila shel iser shal yedei zeh poigmin ba'adas ma'oid ad shenichnosen l'das v'chakiroi she'oser likones b'hem shelo yetzei migvul ha'kedusha. So in other words, and that's why the Rebbe says always we should never touch even anything with philosophy. Stay away from philosophy because it's puzzle. It's puzzle. It'll just defile your mind. And he says all the time, the Rebbe says, why? Because philosophy, he says, the problem is they have very good questions, but their answers are very flimsy. So what they do is they just toy with our emunah. That's all it does. So why do I need it for? What do I need it for? I understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Yotzei HaMa'oros. He created the luminaries. He created everything. Why do I need that for? Why do I need it? It's all you, Hashem. You created everything. Why do I need it for? Shezeu bechinas eitz hadas toivera And because on Pesach we're trying to make that repair, we're leaving the realm of the slaves. We're leaving the realm of being Bein HaKlipos that we were in Mitzrayim. We're leaving that idea. Therefore, the main thing is about eating. And that's the mitzvah of Pesach, is to eat. Eat matzah. Eat your matzah. Take your prescription. Eat matzah. But stay away from the chametz. We're like in a situation of ICU. You can't. Everyone has to go in there sterile and this, right? That's what Pesach is. We're all in the level of we're like an ICU. Don't even look at this other stuff. Don't even go near it. It's right. Bal yirah, bal yamatzeh. Right? Chametz is strange. Bal yirah, bal yamatzeh. Don't look at it. Don't have nothing to do with it. It's strange, right? In other words, a person can have a business. He can have not kosher things, and there's no problem. He can't eat it, but he can sell it. It's no problem, right? Right? That's no problem. The person, no, bal yirah, bal yamatzeh. Don't even look at it. You can't have it. Because we had no idea how to do this, to straighten out the mind, settle the mind, and to settle the mind, and then compartment to organize the mind. And that's because of that. In other words, where did the atzvus come from? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Adam Arishon, "Be'itzva and teichlena." You'll eat your bread of the depression. You'll eat a depression. Bechinas atzvus and morish choira, melancholiness, right? Atzvus, depression, melancholiness. She'ochaz ba'achila beyoser kizeh ikra golus. That is the main thing of golus. Al kein tzrichen lechel rak matzah shu lechem abirim. This was the angel food. It was angelic food. The bechinas mon, the same idea of mon, like your Monday, right, Mordechai?
Monday.
Yeah, see that Monday.
Monday.
Right? Yeah, Monday. There we go. Bechinas machal shel malachim. That's the idea of machal of malachim. That's the idea of the angelic food. That's where they got the idea of angelic food, right? The man was angelic food. Shein lahem isarusa de lasata. They have no isarusa de lasata. They have nothing. They can't do anything awakening from below. They're not below. They're above. Because on Pesach the machal comes from above. And again, when we make the matzah down here, and they watch the what do you call it, the wheat from the time b'shas haksira, from the time that they're kaitzer, they watch that it doesn't come in contact with any water or anything, it's dry, and they watch it the whole time, the whole process, right? It's so important that we do that, right? Why? Because we don't want to make sure we don't get defiled by any means. Because at that but it's impossible for us to defile our minds. Because at that time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us such a great amount of light in our mind. If I put any chametz in there, the mind will go crazy. But if I don't eat the chametz, I can accept that light. You understand? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is filling with us with light. But if I take the chametz in there, it'll mess up my mind, and then the light will go over the gvul, and then we have all of that problem. Al kein asa chametz ad acha kriyas yamsuf, and therefore chametz was also until we went through the sea. That was on Shvi Shel Pesach, right? We went through the sea on Shvi Shel Pesach, on the 7th day of Pesach. Shehischil bechinas tikkun haketer shayidei asfira, through the days of Sfira, as we learned so beautifully about Baruch Hashem. V'achar kach b'Shvuos, and then when we come to Shvuos, Kabbalah Satayra, oz ikut tikkun haketer. That's the main tikkun of Keser. That's the 50th gate, right? Shvuos is the 50th gate. Oz mevinim shtei halechem chometz daika, and that's the only other time we would bring actually shtei halechem, 2 loaves of bread that was chometz. So the Korban Tamid, the Korban Todah, the Korban Todah and the Korban and the sacrifice on Shavuos had something in common. Those were the only 2 situations that we were able to bring in the Beis Hamikdash chometz. Otherwise, everything in the Beis Hamikdash was non-leavened bread. But on these 2 circumstances, 2 situations, when a person went through his difficulties, whatever difficulty he went through, whether he went to the sea, whether he was in the jail, whether he was in the sea, whether he was what do you call it, in the midbar, right? It doesn't matter, whatever the situation he was, whatever it was, and he got out. So therefore, bring the Korban Todah, bring that thank you sacrifice, and in the thank you sacrifice there were 4 types of breads. And each bread you bring 10 loaves of each 4 of the types of breads. And he had mixed in them was the chametz. And that was unique, that there was chametz. No other karbanos had any chametz with them. We learned a lot about this in Nefilas Apayim, all the laws that we learned already. So these ideas we learned about the chametz, we learned about all of these ideas already when we were learning the laws of Tachnun a couple of months back. And therefore, when we bring the Korban Todah, and we're coming out of the tsar, we're coming out of our pain, whatever trouble it was, right? Whichever trouble it was, the person was saved from whatever situation he was saved from. Shu Bechinas Golus, that's an idea of being exiled. Because we said, why? Hashem goes with us. Hashem is always with the Jew no matter where he goes. So whenever the Jew finds himself in a trying situation, Hashem's there with him. But when he gets out of that trying, give thank you to Hashem. Give thanks to Hashem. Shekar tikkun idea simcha, and the main tikkun is through the joy. Again, doing a mitzvah with joy. We can't stress it enough to do a mitzvah with joy. Do whatever you can to put some joy. Recognize that Hashem gave you the ability to do the mitzvah. So it's not just enough that I did the mitzvah, and that's great if I do a mitzvah, but do the mitzvah with joy. Because then you can fix, you can make the tikkun, you can make the repair, that your mind can be settled and organized. And therefore then we can bring lechem chametz, because again, the mind is settled and it can process it. When you've settled the mind, and you organize things in the mind, through simcha, like we understand through the Amtana. Then I can fix the chametz from its source. Then I can understand the chametz and its source. I can fix it because I understand what it's all about. Because really chametz, the source of chametz is really kedusha. Which is this idea again, wait. And that's how you get chametz, by waiting, right? Same idea. And then you can make from the chametz some awesome tikkun. You can make some awesome repairs. That's why on Shavuos, after we counted the 49 days of the Sefirah, right? We go through the 49 days and we come to that level that we raised ourselves up. We did all of those days with joy. All those days with joy. We did all those mitzvahs with joy. So now we can have the Shtei Alechem. Where it was Pesach, we brought barley. Remember we learned that. But Pesach, we brought barley. Barley is animal fodder, right? Barley is animal fodder. Because the animals, because we're on that level. And when it comes to Pesach, we rose up to that level of being an Adam. We rose up to that level of being a person, right? Because then we can come to the level of keter, shehu tikkun hamasada. That's the idea of tikkun hamasada. Kamay mevay ba'arichas beilchas nefilas apayim ayin sham. Okay, so now we understand. There's the 4 different types of breads, and we understand why there's chametz with when it comes to the Korban Todah, the thank you offering. And we learned about this delicious bread, that the one that you kneaded it with you kneaded the bread, then you boiled it, then you baked it, and then you fried it. Yossi, would that be amazing?
Sounds good.
A bagel fried, huh? Fried bagel.
It's delicious. It's delicious.
I'm sure it would be delicious.
Yeah.
You had a fried bagel?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my mother used to make it all the time.
See that? Here we go.
Put sour cream on it. Oof.
Ooh, that sounds good. When you put it in the pan.
Mushlam, huh? That'll be mushlam.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, will do hay. What?
It's not the same as a toaster because it gets it's soft inside. It gets a
Crunchy on the outside.
On the outside, yeah.
You can't get water bagels here. I don't think. I don't think the bagels here are water bagel.
You have to first boil them.
Yeah, but I don't think.
I don't know.
This-
I
this
don't know. Maybe
world
they
is
do.
Like, this world is like the up and down, and
Yeah,
Yes.
let's learn. It's getting late. Well, it's late. Okay, let's do what?
it's only 7:37.
70 years.
Okay, let's turn to Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, please, everybody. We are starting. We started yesterday. Halacha Mem. We're in Sif Mem, and this is the laws of Hilchas Netilas Yadayim L'Suda. If I'm going to wash my hands before I eat before I have a meal with bread. So we learned yesterday. The idea of if you want to eat bread, you have to wash your hands, and you have to know that it's the pachos to wash your hands and make a bracha. You have to make sure that you have at least the kazayas, we said, which is the size of an egg, which is a little bit more than an ounce. Like if you take the bread and you would compress it and stick it in a shot glass, and you ate that amount, that would qualify you to make wash your hands and make the bracha al netilas yadayim. Huh? Kibetza. Yeah, kibetza. Right, okay, right. Right, okay. Beis. Netilat yadayim tzricha liyos daika min akli. Here we go, this is a very important one. Netilat yadayim has to be, well, we'll see, okay? It has to be from a vessel. Mitzara sheyeh kli sholem b'li shum nekev oy sedek muflash. The cup has to be a complete cup. It shouldn't have dents on it. It shouldn't have holes in it. It should be a nice cup. V'gam lemala yiyeh shove b'li shum chorutz oy b'lita. It shouldn't have any. How do you say that? It shouldn't have any. The rim has to be good. The rim has to be right. There we go. It shouldn't be bent or something. But ba'osan kankanim sheyesh lahem kimin marzev boilet bigavoya lishbais hakli sheyotzke mimenu derech sham. Let's say you had this kind of pitcher that's closed on the top, narrow on the top. So that's not the kind of cup you're supposed to use. Spell, you don't. We want to have an open cup, not a not a pitcher. Don't wash your hands from some kind of a pitcher. When we have a standard washing cup, use a standard washing cup. Kisham ein loy din kli. That does not have a din of a kli, because a cup, we said. Let's go back. We said that if you had a pitcher that you don't drink from, really that's not considered a kli. Why? Because if you're not drinking from it, it's not the end product, right? If it's not the end product, it didn't need to be toveled with a bracha, right? Only something that's a cup that you can drink, you actually use for something to actually use. That's something that's finished, makes it a kli. Mashkim, because you don't put in there mashkim. Ella tzrichen litol derech sifas hakli mokaim shemachzik mashkin. Right, but you have to put in a place that you could put actually drinks in. Right, a cup that you could fill, a cup that's you could use it. All right, we'll learn more about this. What does it mean of a kli? Sometimes there's also this idea that if you don't have a kli, so then you can use the power of your hand. So if you don't have a kli, what you can do is you can turn on the faucet with your hand, put your hand on there, and shut it off, and then turn it on again, wash the other hand. Turn it off, turn it on again, and wash it. You can do it like that because it's your own power that we'll learn about that. But here today, really the best way is if you have a kli. And I was very happy that even on El Al, they put in their bathrooms, they put actually a cup. That's awesome, mamish. I couldn't believe that. They did that about 2 years ago. They put I came one time. They put a washing cup on the plate. This is
So
It's better to use a plastic cup than a metal cup.
The
because
metal.
the plastic doesn't.
you can use a metal cup.
Okay. Have you ever heard that it's better to use a plastic?
Well, listen. When the kids wrote this, they didn't have plastic.
Non-metal.
But they didn't have. No. So
Earthenware cup.
it's fine. That's as long as it's a cup that you can use.
There's no difference particularly between earthenware, metal, and non-metal. Is that right?
Yes, it doesn't. The cup has to be nice. The rim has to be nice. It should be dented.
So when you're doing your thing with a faucet, when you don't have a cup,
Yeah.
what if it's one of those automatic things?
That's also okay.
You said
Because
it's
it
fine,
only
yeah.
because it only goes when you put your hand there. It turns it on. That's even easier. That's even easier. No, not on Shabbos, of course. Yeah. Okay. So everyone have a wonderful day, and the mitzvah will continue tomorrow. Kol Tuv.